Alright, I'm just going to check a couple of technical things over here. Make sure the stream is functioning. Well, it looks definitely like it's working. Hello, Maria. Well, doing as well as possible, really, in the circumstances. I mean, look at this. This is astrological history in the making. Right now we're talking about, it's not just astrological history, it's world history, it's history, it's a tsunami wave of history for the whole of the population of Earth, all the people on Earth. Whether they like it or know it or not, it's happening to them, ultimately for them, for you, for me, all of us. It's amplified here tonight for an extra bit of volume for a few moments, but because the moon is exactly opposite over here, Venus and moon, Sagittarius, Gemini, but it's on the cusp and it's going to move very quickly, so I don't really want to count it. This is the big heavy duty stuff here. Cusp, radical evolutionary pressure. You have to be willing to change, grow, accept and understand that there's a whole new paradigm of energy flowing into human existence. There, I said it. Okay, I gotta press a few more buttons over here. What's going on? See if I can get this to work better. Okay. Alright, so hi, good evening and welcome. Some of you, well, I don't know who else is here, but Gregory, we've been doing this a long time now. And Maria, yeah, the longest ever. Thank you very much. It's been a very strange, profound time period for me personally. I've been sharing it over there on my other platform show. But here tonight, it's Sunday Night Live, and I was hoping I might be able to do a couple of live mini readings if anyone's interested. So we'll wait and see. I can check as we get started. I'd like to share a few stories. This is the stuff that I'm really not allowed to talk about. And by the way, if anyone's interested in a reading, do not do any super chat. Okay? Do not do super chat. It will never get here. Google, YouTube will take it all. Okay? So that's just how my channel is now. Hello, Jody. Oh, so my voice. I'm not quite sure where to start. I think what I'm going to do is I just want to share a couple of things. Okay? What I'm doing now is archiving a few items on my X, TarotLumination on X. The first story I put on X today was an animal tragedy story. It's really made my blood boil with rage, just pure rage. But again, what do you do? Zeus the lion. This is all about Zeus the lion. Over there in Turkey, Zeus the lion was living in captivity. He finally found a way to get out and enjoy some freedom. And in so doing, he killed somebody. Somebody obviously pissed off the lion. And my feeling is that the lion had many years of pent-up rage against human beings and was looking for a way to express himself. And naturally, that's what lions do. A big, fat, beautiful male lion who'd been born and raised in captivity, and he had enough. He wanted to express his rage against the humans. So there's always this perpetual war. Who's trespassing on who? Are we trespassing on the whales, on the snails, on the bugs, the bees, the viruses, other populations, other humans? It never stops. We're just swarming all the time. Everything's always swarming and changing. We're going to go through extinction events, mass extinction events. They've happened before and they're going to happen again. Right now we're kind of in a sort of sparkly moment of human history where there's a lot of activity. There's been a spectacular explosion of growth of the human population all over the planet. Very disproportionate growth the way I see it. It's almost like what happens over here in East Las Vegas. There's a huge storm drain wash. It's like a massive concrete riverbed to take care of the monsoon rains. And if they don't clean it out properly, what happens is the nutrients that are still in the water flourish and provide food for invisible algae, and then the algae start to grow and bloom, and the wash, the big old riverbed out there, turns bright green, and it looks weird. And of course the algae is very, very happy, but everything else is very sad because it's killing the environment for anything else, because there's no oxygen. The algae eats up the oxygen. So who's right? Who's the winner? Who's the loser? I don't know. But anyway, algae blooms are a real thing. And so we get pissed off with them, so we shovel them out. They bring in massive earth-moving equipment and move all the algae out of the way. And the algae get pissed off and die. And then the algae will come back again with rage. Anyway, so Zeus the lion escaped. Went on a rampage, scared a bunch of people. He was probably just having a lot of fun, and then somebody looked at him the wrong way, and then that somebody got killed. And then guess what happened? The so-called authorities came out with snipers in a helicopter and tracked him and shot him dead. And that's the end of the story. I think I told you years ago when I was a very little kid, I used to release animals from their cages. Of anyone that had caged animals. My sister had caged animals. She had little animals and birds and things, and I released them all. And she never forgave me. We were just little tiny kids, but that's what I did. I don't like being caged. I get very claustrophobic very easily if I feel as though my sense of freedom is threatened. Okay, next story. Tucker Carlson. You've probably heard of him. I don't know, maybe you didn't. Tucker Carlson is kind of a controversial pundit. He loves America. He used to be the #1 host on Fox News, but he kind of pushed it a little bit too far and showed his true colors, and it made it very difficult for the owners of Fox, who are trying to run a huge media operation, and it was getting very distorted because during the build-up of the Trump supremacy, Tucker Carlson was very vocal as a supporter for Trump, and the owners of Fox previously were, what's his name? Rupert Murdoch, who is a very, very staunch conservative. But Rupert had some adult children in their 40s and 50s who were hardcore commie lefties. Rupert got too old and he left the company, whatever it's called, Fox Communications or something. He left it to his kids. And now his kids own it, and of course they're very successful, but the kids are hardcore commies while they're running a basically sort of like a uniparty Republican mouthpiece. It's about the only mainstream media that is on the Trump support. But anyway, Tucker Carlson was the star of the show. People would show up every night for Tucker Carlson at 5 p.m. But it got too much. And so Tucker was released. People used to go to Fox to watch Tucker. That's how it worked. So what happened with the rest of Fox? They didn't really care. The hardcore viewers go to Fox to get to Tucker. When Tucker departed, Fox networks kind of went like this. They've recovered because there's nowhere else to go. In the meantime, Tucker has set himself up with this whole Tucker Carlson network. He's doing extremely well. And I keep in touch pretty regularly. Anyway, Tucker has become controversial because he's very open-minded, very outspoken, very willing to call out things like the so-called Uniparty, the rhinos, the bad Republicans, the globalists, the deep state, and anybody who presents themselves as good for America when they're not. And he hates things like the Uniparty and the deep state warmongers and the Federal Reserve banking system, big pharma, big agro. He hates all the stuff that you're supposed to hate, like I hate. But he's also kind of shown his true colors, that he's not a big fan of the Jewish Zionist cartel that is very powerful in America. And so he just recently did an interview with the president of Iran. Okay, there's the Ayatollah Khomeini, who is the theocrat monster of Iran. There's the president of Iran, who is basically part of the same team. And then there's the exiled prince of Iran from 45 years ago, who's the real Iran. So anyway, Tucker did the interview, and he was basically saying we have to find out the point of view and the perspective of the Iranian people. But that president isn't really the Iranian people. Anyway, it struck a lot of controversy, and a lot of people backfired against Tucker and say, Tucker, what the hell do you think you're doing? All the Tucker lovers were like, Tucker, you're way out of line here. You're starting to sound like a traitor yourself. What are you doing? And then Tucker responded like, I'm trying to get a meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. He just hasn't replied yet. Do you see the awkwardness here? Very, 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 very awkward. So Tucker's trying to save himself. What he's done, he's had to do a lot of PR and marketing and free content to try and attract people to his subscription network. It's not cheap to get on there. But Tucker's used to making a lot of money. And I don't know how much he makes now, but he has a very, very good lifestyle. But that is contingent on continuing to make a lot of money. But he's on his own. So he has a lot of fans. I love Tucker as well, but he can be very controversial. And you know, Tucker Carlson and Elon have been very vividly present together in public at the UFC fights. We're going to see what happens. It's very interesting to watch. I have to go to another Trump-related story, and that's regarding Elon. I don't know if you've seen all of this. Now, I don't think this is controversial that'll get this video shut down. I just want to put it out there for fun tonight before we get into any readings, in case I have any bookings for a reading. Just want to give people a little time to arrive at the show and to get comfortable, get stuck in. And I'll check in a little bit later on to see if I got any donations. Okay, so anyway, as you know, Elon is kind of losing his marbles at the moment. And the latest thing is that he wants to set up the America Party as a third party in Washington. And of course, it's creating a lot of chaos and upheaval and gossip and chatter all around America. For Elon lovers, Elon haters, Trump lovers, Trump haters, Democrat lovers, Democrat haters, all of it. They're coming in with their different opinions. And I think it was kind of fun today. Oh, thank you, Gregory. It was kind of fun today. Actually, let me see if I can find it for you. Give me a second. I know I like to do a little bit of prep before the shows, and I don't remember if I actually saved this one, so I'm probably just going to read it for you, okay? It's fun. It's fun because, you know, Trump can really... he loves to rip on people who are his enemies. So let's have a look. Okay, he's over in, he's just coming back from Texas now. He's going to Texas at the end of next week. So anyway, I'm just reading this. This is 2 hours ago from Donald. Okay, here we go. Pretend I'm Donald Trump. Okay. I am saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. He even wants to start a third political party, despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. Like it or not, the system seems not designed for them. Correct, I agree. We operate in a binary system in America with Congress. The one thing that third parties are very good for doing is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos. You just have to look at Parliament and parliamentarians. Okay. Hi, Bubba. Where are you? Hold on. What do you need? What's the matter? Give me a second, folks. You want some TLC? Did you have a bad dream? You have a bad dream, Bubba? Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. I'll get you topped up. Don't you worry, okay? Gosh. I think... Sorry, excuse me. Bubba was a little upset that I wasn't paying attention to him. So I agree with this. A third party is really not viable, but it's Elon lashing out. Already, he says, Trump says, we already have enough chaos and disruption with the radical left Democrats, okay, which I believe is true. And of course, that's the spirit of America. We're allowed to do that. They've lost their confidence and they've lost their minds. Bubba, come on over. What is it? Okay, I'm going to read it from over here. They've lost their confidence, they've lost their minds. Hi, Bubba, you're on camera. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth-running machine. And that just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of our country. It is a great bill, but unfortunately for Elon, it eliminates the ridiculous electric vehicle mandate, which would have forced everyone to buy an electric car in a short period of time. What's the matter, Bubba? You don't like me talking to anyone anymore, do you? Anyway. So, anyway, Trump is being strongly opposed to... Give me a look. Do you want to come up and hang out with us or what? Sorry, this is completely unprofessional. It's not the right way to run a show, is it, Bubba? You want a snack? You want some water? What is it? Come on over. Come on, I'll clear some... I have to clear a space and get Bubba a glass of water. Give me a moment here. Come on. Let's get up here. I'll do some levitation. Okay, Bubba's flying through space right now. I want you to have a nice glass of water, okay, Bubba? That's over there. Sorry about that. It's very, very unprofessional. Oh, come on. Come and sit over here. Just hang out with me. Just hang out, Bubba. We'll be fine. Poor thing. So needy. So insecure. Poor thing. So, Bubba. Anyway, the big beautiful bill shut down the EV mandate. Okay? And the idea is that it would force people to buy an electric car in a short period of time. Trump has been strongly opposed to that from the very beginning. People are now allowed to buy whatever they want. A gasoline power, hybrid, which is doing very well, or even new energy like electrical. Okay? As they evolve naturally. Okay? But no EV mandate. So Trump, I'm Trump, okay? I have campaigned on this for 2 years, and quite honestly, when Elon gave me his total and unquestioned endorsement, I asked him whether or not he knew that I was going to terminate the EV mandate. It was in every speech I made and in every conversation I had. He said he had no problems with that. I was very surprised, but anyway, additionally, Elon asked that one of his close friends should run NASA. And while I thought his friend was very good, I was surprised to learn that this friend was actually a blue-blooded, hardcore Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican before. Elon probably was also. We all know that. I also thought it was inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon, who was in the space business, run NASA, when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life. In other words, conflict of interest. My number one charge as president is to protect the American public. Okay, so where did Bubba go? I think Bubba got pissed off and he went into the bunker. So here's what I want to add onto this. I'm going to look at it through the astrology, as you know. Watch. Okay, I did my chart for today. Now actually, I guess we could worry about it. This little red line here is a very fierce opposition between Pluto and Mercury. If you want to distill it down into essence of energy, you could interpret it as a war of words. Okay? This is an opposition. It's a very warlike dynamic. It can work great if you've got a healthy relationship, but it's the worst possible dynamic you can have in a sucky relationship. So anyway, this is a live dynamic right now in the astrology for the whole world. It's basically a war of words. What's real, what's not real, who's right, who's wrong, and so on and so on and so on. And we're heading into Mercury retrograde. Neptune just flipped retrograde. Saturn's going to flip retrograde too as well. Okay, right? So we got all that. But here's the extra ingredient. Donald Trump has Leo rising, Pluto in Leo, and Mars in Leo. Okay, that's a very fierce, very, very powerful ascendant. So in other words, just look at him. He looks like a really almost like a comic book hero lion, like a human version of an extremely powerful alpha lion male, and which is exactly what he is. He's like a cage fighter, and he will fight to the death and instantly kill any opponent if he feels it necessary in order to make a statement and let the rest of the world know who's the boss. He just did that a couple weeks ago with Iran. Anyway, so that's Elon Musk, okay? Leo rising, Pluto in Leo, Mars in Leo. It just so happens that Elon Musk has Mars in Aquarius. So let me put that over here. See if I can illustrate this a little bit better rather than just sitting on this chart. I'll just try and make it really simple. Okay. Mars. Donald Trump, DJT, has Mars in Leo. Elon Musk has Mars in Aquarius. So, can you see the connection here? I'm trying to basically make a deduction for you. It's an inference, okay? Can you guess what I'm going to do next? Yes, I'm going to draw a big fat red line. Okay? Mars versus Mars. This is the fighter in Donald. This is the fighter in Elon. It's a pure opposition. And Elon is showing his worst, lowest expression of Mars in Aquarius. And he's perfectly justifying in him expressing himself the way he's expressing himself. He's the richest guy in the world, and he can basically say whatever he wants, and who's going to stop him? So that's what he does. That's what he did. He was supportive of Elon because he understood a few things and decided this is very, very good for me, for business, for America. I'm going to make X. I'm going to make X grok. I'm going to make X AI. I'm going to make X money. I'm going to make X, what's the other one? X payment systems. Okay, so it's a very, very big deal. The new economy for Elon with the Gemini stuff coming up. Elon, of course, already has, Tesla, SpaceX, Boring Company, Starlink, what's the other one? Anyway, he's got a whole bunch of companies. Oh, X, of course, right. And all the X derivatives. So, Elon already knew that Donald Trump was going to shut down the EV mandates. But Elon carried on anyway. So Trump put his trust into Elon. It turns out that actually Elon's actually really pissed off because Donald Trump, he's a cage fighter, okay? The more you try to take him down, the more powerful he's going to become. What's happening is all of Elon's hostility is being turned back onto Elon, amplified like this, like a boomerang. And Elon doesn't get it. Elon is much younger than Donald. He doesn't have the life experience of Donald. And Elon is showing his immaturity like a rambunctious kid who's been insulted in the playground in front of all his friends and buddies. And he doesn't like feeling that way. He doesn't like that it's pretty obvious why Elon's pissed. He doesn't like that Donald Trump has made it plain, like, Elon, if you insist on insulting me in public, calling it the disgusting abomination, big beautiful bill, and so on, I'm going to get pissed at you. Here's what getting pissed at you looks like. I'm going to shut down the EV mandates. I already told you we're going to do that. All right? Duh. What happens if I shut down EV subsidies? By the way, Elon, I want you to remember, I want the whole world to remember that you, Elon, are the largest recipient of global corporate welfare in the world. So you better be effing grateful. So why are you pissed off and mouthing off at me? And so Elon just got even more berserk, and now he's doing all this America Party stuff. It's just escalating into a war of words. It's all happening on Truth Social versus X. Donald Trump owns Truth Social. Truth Social is now more valuable than X. X is owned by Elon. So it's a war. See, do you see how the astrology all works? Yeah. Yeah, it's theater. Yeah. It's a fabulous, fabulous movie. Okay, let's move on before I get into trouble. Very, very quick thing about BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Some of my most treasured sources are declaring that this is an amazing thing, and yet at the same time, Putin is not there, and Xi Jinping is not there. They represent the vast bulk of BRICS. There's lots of other countries, but they don't have the size or the clout of Russia or China. Okay. I don't know what these crazies are thinking out there, but I can understand the dissatisfaction of the dollar dominance. Here's the other little snippet. I don't think any of this will get me into trouble. Over there in Iran, guess who showed up? Guess who just showed up? The Ayatollah Khomeini. He's right there. He just showed up at a big victory ceremony. He's declaring victory against America and Israel. Okay, this guy's a complete crackpot, but there you go. Here's another little snippet. It just leaked out today. Okay, you know about X. You know about X-Grok, which is XAI type material. And you know about X-Pay and X-Payment systems that are coming online soon. Guess who's behind all of that? Guess. BlackRock. There you are. Just wanted to mention that. Cancerian crying and whining. So that's a little bit embarrassing. I've also been reading statistics and narratives about all the controversy. I should just shut up. Yeah, Elon's kind of acting like a big baby, an extremely wealthy, spoilt baby. And his ego is badly hurt. He can't take the punches. Here's another big win for Donald. We are now seeing direct flights between America and Greenland. You don't have to hopscotch on little putt-putt planes or anything. Direct flights going into Greenland now. Donald is trying to send a message to Greenland, and Greenland will prosper accordingly. Next, going up there, Alberta, Canada. Okay, you've heard about this already. Alberta is seriously considering separating itself from the rest of Canada. A bit awkward for the rest of Canada. Mark Carney, Ontario, British Columbia, all of that. Alberta has all the oil and gas money. And they are sick of all the communists and the globalists and the World Economic Forum infections all over Canada. And so Alberta, now they just did a tally. It looks like the population of Alberta is 65% in favor of separation, annexation, independence, which takes it one step closer to becoming much closer to America. Sarah Nova, greetings. So that's kind of fun and funny. Okay, I have one more story, and then we'll get on with a couple of readings. Looks like we have a reading. We got 2 readings. Yay! I have no idea what these purple crowns are. Forgive me, I have not a clue. I can't help you. Okay, I have a Neptune story. Let's go over here. So Neptune is extremely fierce right now. If you can imagine Neptune being fierce. It's difficult, yeah, but anyway. Elon's not a politician. Elon is not used to the vicious fights that go on in politics. Elon has survived on his brilliance, his genius, and massive astrological good fortune. He's got staggering astrological good fortune when it comes to science, technology, and big government money. Okay? Okay, Sarah, you got it. Thank you. Actually, let me put those post-its up before I forget. Okay, so Sarah Nova. There we go. Okay, we're filling up. I think I got one from Gregory, right? And I just got a booking from Love Triber. Okay, so I don't know if I can take any more. All right. Yeah. Okay. I know it's very, very big deal. It's a very, very exciting time when you get your magic post-it note and you actually see it on camera. Look at that. Woo! My God. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. I know. Calm down, everybody. Calm down. Anyway, Neptune is raging right now, if it's possible for Neptune to rage. Neptune is at actually, it's just flipped retrograde on the cusp right here. So it's a very tumultuous retrograde. It's conjoined by Saturn, which is going to retrograde in a few days. Ouch. Okay? So here's my interpretation. When I think of Neptune, the first one, of course, is like beauty, inspiration, divinity, messages from the beyond, psychic powers, remote viewing, remote energy healing by hand, miracle cures, the healing power of love, being an instrument of the healing power of love, connections directly to heaven, the land of dreams, the land of the great beyond, what happens after we die, and so on. The other side of Neptune is the tragic side, which is all about death, destruction, betrayal, lies, deception, fraud, crime, perversions, sickness, addictions, suicide, hospitals, insanity, just an absolute horror show of life. The worst things. I mean, just look around at the homeless in Los Angeles. Look at all the tragedy in Gaza. Look at all the tragedy in Africa. Look at all the tragedy with the flooding over here. It's not an accident. You might want to check out my stuff on X. I just reposted a few things. I'm not going to talk about it here. Look at all the catastrophe that's happening in there with China. It's all directly related to Neptune. In a very, very fierce position right now. Neptune, water, oceans, lakes, rivers, rains, flooding, and so on. Combine that with Uranus at the crisis degree as well. Uranus representing planet Earth, rocks, mountains, grass, trees, forests, animals, farms, nature itself, earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, flooding, drought, things like, magnetic pole shifts, Milankovitch cycles, solar cycles every 11 and a half years, and all that kind of stuff. So you combine that one with that one, it's tumultuous on the global stage. The best examples right now are China, flooding, catastrophic, and Texas, catastrophic flooding. But it's also, fires in Turkey and Greece, fires all over here. Anyway, so let's make it a little bit more personal. Excuse me, I'm knocking over half the stage here. All these operational tools. Hi, Tina. So, anyway, back to Neptune. I had this kind of spooky realization today. Didn't make any sense to me, but I was invited to watch a mini-series called Painkillers. And when I heard about it, I resonated very strongly. I kept thinking, oh, this is talking about a massive flashback into going back decades when I was dealing with a lot of different health issues than I have today, where I ended up because of my my spinal surgeries and things, I ended up as basically a junkie. I was on oxycodone, OxyContin, which was the brand name for oxycodone. As you know, today OxyContin is not available. It was criminalized, but it has been reformulated into a so-called safer version. There's no safe version of hardcore opiates, okay? They're basically just for pain, extreme hyper pain. Anyway, I was an addict. I couldn't get off it, and it was justified because I couldn't cope with the pain. I was in hospital, in and out, just because of blackouts and pain. And eventually, you see, at the time I was very poor and mostly homeless, but I had good friends who look after me, and so they kept taking care of me. But anyway, I was on oxycodone by prescription, and had the surgery, and 5 years later I could, look like a sort of a normal person again. But anyway, this show, it's called Painkillers, and it's all about the real life story of oxycodone, OxyContin. And so I resonated very strongly, and I kept thinking, what about this huge flashback? Doesn't mean anything. That's all part of my history from long ago. And I realized, okay, there's a message here. I'm supposed to realign with that story from how it correlated with the OxyContin crisis in America back in the 90s and my own life. And I thought, okay, well, that was fun. It's interesting, but it's over, and I've recovered, and I'm not there anymore. But then I thought, and I was chatting, and I kept, you know what this is all about? This is all about Neptune retrograde. Neptune, the sad side of Neptune. Drugs, addiction, alcohol, opiates, suicides, accidental deaths, drug dealers, fentanyl, all this sickness, okay? Disease, COVID, fake vaccines, all the stuff that's sick and evil. So I thought, okay, I'm still putting it together. There's Purdue Pharma. They are the makers of OxyContin. And they were just drug dealers propagating death. Same model as the fentanyl operations in America today. So I thought, okay, well, cool. And then I went, ding, ding. Oh, I get it. I'm seeing this little mini-series to remind me about Neptune. But why now? Well, I looked at the charts and I realized, oh, this is the same story coming back again from the mid-90s, but it's now coming up to 2025. It's the same storyline, but it's for the whole frickin' world. It's for the whole of America and beyond. It's all about the drug trafficking. It's all about fentanyl, but it's beyond that. It's the sickness on the corporate scale. It's not just Purdue Pharma. Okay? Little Purdue Pharma, multi-billion-dollar drug company. It goes to all the big ones. AstraZeneca, Bayer, Unilever. All the big pharma. So here we are, back in America. RFK Jr. is taking on those people. The drug makers, the drug dealers, the sellers, marketing all their stuff onto humanity for money, okay, for profit, for money. Globalists, let's scare the crap out of people, give them a fantastic disease, and then we'll provide the cure. Blah, man, bingo, cash, man. Okay, so that's the basic model. But it's the same storyline from the 1990s, but it's now on a global scale. And we have to understand, in simple terms, the idea is that with Neptune retrograde for the next few months, we're going to have a lot of let's say, disclosure, a lot of revealing for the healing, which is going to be all about seeing how sick America really is as a country. And it's not just oxycodone. It's food. It's water. It's air. It's the land. It's freaking everything. Farming policies, big agro. It's all out there. The big and the very and the people who own and operate all that stuff. Guess who that is? It's the people who print the money. Who prints the money? The people who print the money are basically behind the Fed, and those people are, okay, those people are, you know this already. BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, Fidelity, Blackstone, and all the rest of them. Multi-trillion-dollar asset managers whose sole function is to make profit. Their business model is very simple. Make more money. Do whatever you have to do. And that usually distills down to something very simple. Profits over people. In other words, it doesn't matter how many people die. What counts is that we're making money now. We have to use the other core principle, which is that we are the firemen, but we don't like other people to know, but we're also the arsonists. Okay? Because we can't really achieve the numbers that we need without setting fires in the first place that we can put out with our magical cures. And of course, that's deception, betrayal, and delusion and illusion. That's all part of the Neptune thing. And American people need to wake up. It can't just be RFK and a bunch of hardcore Republicans and conspiracy theorists. The whole of America needs to wake up and realize that we're being poisoned on purpose. Sick food. It's made to look beautiful, like a beautiful prepackaged, frozen, exquisite gourmet dinner. It's heavily processed and it's probably very good. I've had a couple in my life. Personally, I just like to buy, the basics. Fresh meats, produce, and fruits, vegetables, and I drink water. That's about it. Some decaf. Maybe once a week I'll have a Coca-Cola. That's about it. Anyway, that's the Neptune retrograde thing right now. And Saturn in Aries, conjoining Neptune, is going to hold the story accountable. There's going to be accountability. Okay? You've got 2 huskies? Oh my God. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm already way over in the trouble zone. Give me a second. I got to check a couple things here. Give me a second, folks, people. I can only handle about 3 readings a night, so I might be already full up. I hope people don't have a lot of expectations. We've already got Sarah Nova, Gregory, and Love Triber. Okay, so let's just... I got to double check everything, make sure I can handle this, make sure I can handle what I said I can do. Give me a second here. I've got to go through a whole bunch of, links and streams and everything. Okay, let's go over here. Confirming this, confirming that. Clicking. Okay, we got it, okay? Jody. Anyway. So you've got 2, oh my God, I can't imagine what it's like owning 2 huskies. They're crackpots, nutcases. I have to confess, Sarah, I like to watch wacky husky videos. They're all over YouTube, like the little huskies going berserk videos, like how they like to talk back at you and be mischievous. Very, very dramatic, complete drama, just all about drama. And I believe they can understand English and they are trying to speak back. Maybe one day they will learn how to speak and they'll develop a voice box. I don't know. So it's funny, like when they you could see these little mini short videos, and someone will say, hey little husky, do you want to go out for a walk? And the husky goes, no, not right now. No, not right now. Or then the husky will look at you and say, where's my food? Where's my food? I want my dinner. I love those huskies. Huskies are just beautiful. I would never have a husky, certainly not here. They're built for, the cold. And right now outside it's about 112 in the shade. Not good for huskies. Anyway, come on, let's do the readings, okay? So give me a few minutes here. I got to get set up. Okay. So let's put this aside over here. Got to keep these things. I gotta shuffle up. I need a pee break. Sorry. I'll be back in a minute. Let's have a look here. Make sure I got everything. Yep, got all this. Okay, Sarah, we're gonna do you first, okay? Alright. Give me a moment. we go. Thanks for your patience. Okay. All right, Sarah. Whew. All right, let's have a look. Oh, Fluffles, I'm burned. I'm already half burnt out as it is. Hey, Fluffles, if you want, hold on. Let me just connect with Fluffles a second here. Hey, Fluffles, if you want to, I'll do a mini reading for you during the week, like Monday or Tuesday, and I can send it over, something like that. It's the same as what we're doing now. It'll just be a blind mini reading, 10 minutes or something. It's up to you. I can't do another one tonight. My voice won't make it, okay? I hope that helps. Everybody just got here early tonight. That's, what can you do? All right. But thanks for asking. Don't put your money in yet, okay? Taos, New Mexico. Oh my gosh. Oh, I've been to Taos. That's an amazing place. It's like a little spiritual haven. Okay, so those Texas storms are not a joke, okay? You can check out my X, TarotLumination on X. I've got a couple links over there. It's very, very disturbing stuff going on. Extremely disturbing stuff. Okay. All right, let's clear up. You know the routine, so I hope you're having a wonderful walk, Sarah. And let's dive in. What kind of messages do we have here tonight for Sarah on her delightful walk with her two wacky huskies? Let's have a look. Here we go. Okay, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at the external influences. Of course, I'm going to default to the planets. I have to get the chart out. Just as a reminder, this is what's going on in the background for all of us. The yellow blobs represent extreme pressure to evolve. Okay? Whether you like it or know it or not. Oh gosh. Texas animal problem. Yeah, that's just beyond the scope of this channel. It's just too tragic, too heartbreaking. It's unimaginable. They're helpless. Ugh. Ugh. Alright, anyway. Okay, so Sarah. Just enjoy the walk. You don't have to watch or anything. You can see it later if you want to. Okay, so you've got the Six of Swords here. This is an indication that my feeling is moving forward in life right now is your number one priority. Leaving behind anything and everything that's irrelevant to you, mostly to do with your attitudes, your belief systems, your conditioning from the past, the way you were taught at school and raised by your family. Anything and everything that you now honestly can admit to yourself is not, it's not like it's redundant. It's just that you have matured and reached a point there where, okay, that was your foundation. But now it's time for you to evolve into the most pure version of yourself that you have ever known. And that means taking a journey into the unknown, only bringing with you that which is, let's say, stuff from your conditioning and your past, and then going into the future that is yours and that you own it, that you've already lived through it, and you own your own belief systems. You know what's right and wrong according to you, not according to your teaching, not according to the way you were conditioned. Okay, going forward, it means living in it's just a new way to live. It's a very, very light, very cerebral way to live, where you don't get bogged down with ancient history or heavy karma or inappropriate conditioning. Okay? All right. What's the situation? Let's have a look. Wow, freedom. It looks like, oh well, this is like a double dose of some medicine. Like for Sarah, like with the Judgment card here, it's like either you consciously or unconsciously have prepared yourself for this moment in time where if you feel that you are shackled by the past and by previous conditioning, teachings, belief systems, and you know that they're inappropriate for you going forward, or you've outgrown them, then it's time to liberate yourself. It's extremely important because no one else is going to do it for you. You have to be your own liberator. Okay? This is... basically, it's really time to just completely jettison anything and everything that either impedes your growth, your sense of freedom, your sense of justice, your sense of dignity, your sense of identity. That has to be, you just have to let it has to be, you just have to move on, okay? Whew. Simple, powerful notes here. Okay, well, what's the problem? Oh God! Oh my God! So with the Knight of Wands here, it's almost like you're talking to yourself, Sarah. Let's say you're talking to yourself, and maybe you can hear this reading or not. I don't know. Maybe you can hear it while you're walking the dogs, but it would be, Sarah. It's almost like, oh God, TL, why do you have to give me a message like that? Why are you putting so much pressure on me to do my own evolving? Why can't I have someone to come and save me and help me do this? No. You have to save yourself, and that's the problem, because everyone's looking for a savior. Everyone is looking for like a helping hand to evolve and get to the next step, so you don't have to be 100% responsible for your own identity, yourself, your new life that's unfolding, whether you like it or know it or not. And so, that's a bit of a problem. No one is coming to save you. No one can do this for you. No one can come along and say, hey Sarah, you know that obsolete, redundant belief system that you had about friends and family or whatever? That has to go. You're the only one who can figure it out. It's very difficult, but you can do it. Alright. Oh well. You're going to be okay. Alright, let's have a look. How do we proceed here? Oh my God, these are huge cards, Sarah. Okay, be prepared to walk through the valley of doubt. Shadows of your own fear. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Am I going to slip and fall into all my failures of the past? No. Well, the beauty about these retrogrades, Sarah, is that they are going to bring up, Neptune's going retrograde, Saturn's going to retrograde, Mercury's going to go retrograde. It's all part of the massive hangover effect from the huge astrological tsunami that happened over the last couple months. With these retrogrades, the whole world is dealing with the undertow, the backwash. You know, when a big tsunami crashes and then the wave pulls back from the shore. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, the wave's pulling back. Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury. So there's a lot of revealing for the healing. It's not always fun. You're the only one who can effectively heal yourself, because you're the only one who's going to be able to witness the revealing inside yourself that needs to be healing. In other words, this is self-healing, okay? And so what it's going to require in order to move forward is being very, very courageous, where you're going to have to be your own savior and walk with supreme confidence, walk tall, walk straight, look the world right in the eye, walk into all your fears, all your traumas from the past, all the lies, deceptions, betrayal, everything that you know is dysfunctional, wrong, and inappropriate and redundant for your future. But it's okay. That's just fear, okay? False evidence appearing real. Your life right now is what it is right now. Everything we're talking about here is the past that has to be released. All those heavy, huge retrogrades you're going to learn over the next 5 months, okay? I hope that makes sense for you. You're going to be fine. You just have to be willing to go through this journey of rediscovering, or actually not rediscovering, discovering your true identity, your real identity that might have been immersed or hidden for so long, okay? That's what this is all about here, the new journey into Aries. All right, thank you, Sarah. Moving on. We got Mr. Ross. Okay, I'm going to clean all this up here. I'm going to play a little tune. Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. I'm thinking of indulging myself. Yeah, no, I've got this all wrong. What am I looking at? Something short and sweet through the ether. I'm just looking at some of my old songs. I haven't played them in a long time. You know what? I'm going to play this one. It feels really weird, but it's a very old song of mine. It's about like just taking life in huge chunks. Dancing your way through life, making it a beautiful journey, okay?
This is called The Bounce. Way out in Tokyo, even in old Moscow, in some parts of Trinidad, I remember the good times I had. All along the Great Wall of China, on the decks of ocean liners, with the Incas up in the Andes, way out in Los Angeles. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. I smoked powwow with Geronimo. I've been downtown with nowhere to go. I made peace between the West and East, and I've met Beauty and the Beast. I swam around the great equator. I started out sooner than later. I've been out to both of the poles, and I know where you don't grow old. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Okay.
So
we got the words. We got the lyrics.
I hope that cheered you up.
Let's just see if we can hear it now.
All right, let's see. Gregory, you're up. You know the drill. All right, here we go. All right, Mr. Ross. Let's see what kind of messages we have for Gregory tonight. Who knows what'll come up? Let's have a look. This lovely deck. We all know the routine. This is my situational spread for new viewers. It's like a diagnostic tool. It's the same device that you get when you go to an auto tech and they plug the little black box under your steering wheel when your check engine light is flashing. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Here we go. All right, let's have a look. Whew, you know the drill. Gather around your invisible friends, your loved ones from the great beyond, all your little pets and animals from the other side, your archangels. We all have those. All of it. Let's have a look. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges, and here's how we're going to handle things going forward. What these external influences, what does that look like? Okay, let's have a look. Four of Swords. Calm down, calm down, calm down. My feeling is this isn't just a simple, like, take a break reading. It's much more about, it makes me feel like brace yourself for long-term healing in the world of love and relationships. I'm talking about it in a very ephemeral sense, pure love, and how that translates down here on Earth. A very much Neptune energy, okay? The healthy side of Neptune. Gregory, because you are a little bit of a compassion junkie, you attract people who have a lot of trouble and they need a really courageous, someone who fights on their behalf because they can't do it. And over the years, that builds up like barnacles and crust and everything. And sometimes that often happens with compassionate healers like Tina, for example, as well. And Love Tribe, everybody here probably understands what we're talking about. But eventually the healer needs healing, okay? If that makes sense, Gregory, the healer needs healing too. And so don't ever forget that. I know you're on a mission. You can't help yourself. You're kind of a fighter for those who can't fight for themselves. You deserve success and happiness as well. But also the healer needs healing, and they're looking at that opportunity right now. It might not make sense at first, but my feeling is that in some very subtle ways, you're going to start to realize that whatever is happening to you at the three-dimensional level here right now on Earth with your new enterprise, employees, transactions, businesses, clients, all those things, it's kind of like a rebirth, all right? And as you go through it, my feeling is that you're going to realize things are starting to get reciprocal, where you are no longer being drained of your energy to save others. It's reciprocal, where in the process of providing your healing services to others, you receive reciprocal healing in return. It might not be in a contract or an agreement, but in the angelic realms, that's what's happening, and you deserve it. Healing is coming your way, and you have to be ready, willing, and able to receive that. Because the hardest thing to do is to be able to receive that. Okay? It almost, sometimes powerful healers are very ashamed of receiving healing themselves. Okay? So it can happen. It doesn't mean you have to struggle with, oh my God, I'm a junkie, I'm an alcoholic, I'm some sort of addict of some kind. I have to go through painful self-healing things. No, this is the message for me here is that just keep being Gregory, the successful, happy, fun-loving Gregory, and be aware that healing is coming to you as almost like a side effect. Okay? Sarah, I already did your reading. It's there on the video. You'll have to check it back later, okay? And what's the situation? Let's have a look. Going forward, we got the Nine of Wands here. So let's just admit it. Over the years, it just piles up and adds up, and you start to look back. You can almost, it's almost like, here's my feelings right now. Let me just share with you, okay? How can I express this? The Nine of Wands, this is how I'm interpreting it. It felt like a very vivid image to me, okay, Gregory? To me, the Nine of Wands is saying this for you. Just imagine I'm there, and I'm in a bar, and you're there, and I see you, you see me, and you're going to go, hey, what's up, man? And I started drinking again, and I get myself a nice IPA beer and a shot of Jameson whiskey or something, and you get your favorite beverages or whatever. And it's like we're old buddies, and we're like, oh, yeah, what happened? Oh, my God, I can't believe I screwed up and did that. Do you remember when you screwed up with that so-and-so? I'm like, oh, how did I screw that up? Oh, my God, I lost so much. Oh, I had a wonderful time with this and this and this and this and this. And then we sort of do this like guy-to-guy confession type stuff. And you kind of blurt out all the crap that you had to deal with and that you did, and how I failed at this, I failed at that and everything. And I'm there, I put an arm around your shoulder and say, Gregory, don't worry about it. You're a human being human. That's it, man. You're not alone. All that crap, all that horrible, horrible stuff, and some of it might feel like it's still there right now. Yeah, some of it you brought onto yourself, but we all do that, okay? So, no shame. You can handle it. It's just like a realization that, oh my God. Yeah, there have been moments where I have to admit I have been my own worst enemy. Oh my God. Hey, shall we have another one? Oh my God, yeah, I remember how oh my God, I'm having huge flashbacks. Hey TL, I'm having huge flashbacks. I remember, I can see clearly now how I really, really screwed up on that deal with that person. Oh God, oh my God. If only I had known then what I know now. Oh well. Okay, so that's what I'm sensing about the Nine of Wands for you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Oh boy. All right, let's have a look. What's the challenges here? Oh boy. Yep. All right, let's have a look. Nine of Wands. Another nine. I don't know. I'm not a numerology person. I don't know enough about it. But anyway, there's another nine here. Nine of Wands. Yeah, this looks to me like it's an out and out admission. Yes, yes, yes. I admit it, TL. I admit it. I am the cause of my own mental suffering. Every single freaking item on that list, I could have done something different. Could have done something else. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Oh my God. Well, all those retrogrades, it's not surprising that you might be feeling this and like, but it's not the end of the world. The important thing is with the retrogrades, you've got to reveal it to heal it. And so in a simplified term, it's like you're getting a chance to see in the background while you're living your new life going forward, and you are going to be like an incidental recipient of healing as a side effect. Deep down inside of you, you're doing a kind of a self-analysis here where you're realizing, oh my God, I can't believe it. I just can't believe the sheer scale at which I've been the supreme master of my own demise. Oh God, how could I be possibly that? Well, okay. So don't let that overwhelm you. It's just that we're taking a look into the past. It's all the retrogrades. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. It's just we're getting the revealing here, okay? So how do we proceed? Bammo! Don't be scared. It's It's time to change, people. This is all about transformation. Transformational energy healing. By allowing yourself to go through the transformation, which means basically self-healing, which is going to come at you incidentally through this unscheduled, unplanned, I guess I would call it the energy of the retrogrades. I believe is going to be beneficial for you in terms of healing as you go deeper and deeper over the next 4 or 5 months. First of all, there's Neptune. It just flipped. Saturn's next in a week or so. Neptune's next in a week or so after that. And then so we have about a month's worth of 4 heavy retrogrades simultaneously. So there's going to be a lot of revealing for the healing. And that is what you're going to be doing here. You're going to be living through that monstrously huge, let's say, backwash, undertow from the astrological tsunami of 2 weeks ago. Okay? So, yeah, this is about transformational energy healing. Okay? It's like a healing feedback loop. It goes to here. It seems like a very confusing, unusual pathway to healing, but that's exactly what this is about. Okay? So this is going to be operating like an app in the background of your life. You don't have to sit there all day worrying about this stuff. Okay? This is like an app running in the background while you conduct your 3-dimensional life out there in the wild. Okay? Okay, so there you go. Remember, have a look closely. Remember, this is like the Scorpio card. This is all about deep, profound transformation, perpetual transformation, which is some of the hardest energy to handle. It means evolving. Evolving means going through change. A lot of people hate and terrified of change, but that's really the only way you can evolve. And guess where it takes you? Do you see the new horizons there? You just have to go through all of this. That's all. Really simple. Really, really simple. Thank you, Gregory. There is your mini reading. Whew. It's funny, you know. Necessary. You're a psychic medium. Gregory reads his own cards. I'm a card reader and astrologer. Love Triber is a reader at cartomancy. All of that stuff. Tina is a healer. Jody, I don't know where you are, Jody. Love Triber, you're up. Okay, so. Let me have a look over here. I'm not going to play any more of my songs right now. I'm feeling a little detached. Give me a second. Sorry, what am I doing here? Please bear with me. Please be patient. Thank you for your patience. Love Triber's ready. Love Triber's ready. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just adjusting everything here so I can do the reading and get ready to do the reading. Hello, Precious. I didn't see you out there. You're up there in Edmonton, at the heart of Alberta. Hey, Precious, I can't do any readings after this tonight. I'm going to be burned out otherwise. But if you want one, check in during the week, okay? Just get in touch with me. Okay. I don't know what happened. The song, my music thing is. What's going on here? Hold on. I guess I didn't press the right buttons. I know. I'm just going to shuffle and then go. Okay? Alright, here we go, Love Triber. You know the routine. Get your own invisible friends. All the archangels, all the healers. Oh, good. So we are a kindred spirit. So we're pretty much all of us on board at the same frequencies, just from different lenses. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I studied tarot and astrology for a long time before I did anything with it, regarding other people. I started very young. There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's have a look. What kind of messages do we have tonight for Love Triber? Oh, that's tricky. Why is it so hard for me to pick up? All right, okay. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things going forward. All right, I'm going to look at external influences. We have the Three of Swords here. So, I don't know, the first word that came to my mind is external sabotage. Okay? And because I know you have a history of having been sabotaged, that might be like a very, very sensitive subject at the moment. Okay? It's one of the most horrible, painful things to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Give me a second. Hold on. Stay there, Love Triber. Hold on. Oh gosh. I have to go over here for a minute. Alright, sorry about that. I'm right back. I'm back here, okay? So again, what I'm sensing is that this is something to do with all the huge wall of retrogrades that's going on right now. I think of it as a massive backwash, or the rip current, or the ripped, what do they call it? I had other words for it, but you know what happens after a wave crashes on the shore? puts tremendous pressure onto the shore, and then the water rips back away from the shore. So that's what I'm sensing right now here, the pulling back, where it's like pulling off the covers and exposing all sorts of things that need revealing for the healing, but sometimes it's not much fun or very comfortable. And so the theme, it looks like one of the themes that may be revealed is betrayal. And then once you name it, okay, sabotage, betrayal, treachery, okay, think of all the Neptune stuff. That some of the worst expressions of Neptune would be sabotage, betrayal, treachery from all sides, and you have been the recipient for all of it, okay? So by putting a name to it, it's like, okay, hold on, Love Triber. So you know, when you go to counseling and therapy and you talk to doctors about stuff, and you have to put a name to things. You have to put things in words. You have to identify them for what it is. Like, say I go in to see a doctor, like, I'm really struggling, doctor. I just can't get enough alcohol. Can you help me? Can you give me a prescription for alcohol? And the doctor says, you're sounding a little bit like an alcoholic. Maybe we need to treat that rather than just giving you more alcohol. I know you've told me that your brother defines an alcoholic as a person who can't get his alcohol. It's not really working that way, okay? So you have to name things like, oh, it's official, okay? Let's say you're going into a therapy session and it's official. What are we going to, like, hello, I'm your therapist, so hello, you are Ms. Love Triber. Okay, nice to meet you. So what's the problem here? You can't just sit there going like, oh God, I hurt so much, and I don't know what's going on. Just life's horrible. Just give me oxycodone. No, it has to be like this. I'm dealing with betrayal, sabotage, and treachery. And then the therapist goes, aha. Okay, well, we can work on that. There you go. So that's what it looks like. We're putting names and defining things very, very clearly, okay? It doesn't mean that this is going to overwhelm your life. It's just that this is an energy field that's going to be revealed over the next few months. So it doesn't mean you have to swim in it like a massive sewage spill. You just have to be aware of it, that the theme of treachery, sabotage, and betrayal will be something that can be examined over the next few months, so ultimately for the purpose of healing. In other words, so you can just put all this away. But sometimes, like when you go to therapy, you can't really, like, you get to a point where you know you don't need therapy anymore because you've basically dealt with the problem, okay? Anyway, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, so with the Hierophant here, to me it makes me feel like, yep, you know it's time for change. You know it's time to rewrite the operating system, the operating manual for Love Triber. In other words, let's say you've already been operating in a certain way. You know how you know how a phone comes with its operating system. The computer, your tablet, comes with an operating system. Usually it's Windows or iOS, Apple operating systems, or something like that. And all the apps have their own operating systems. And then over time they become corrupted, redundant, obsolete, out of date, and they all have to be replaced and updated. Now, I'm not talking about your gadgets. I'm talking about like the way you conduct your life, your codes of behavior, your codes of conduct. Like number 1, blah 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 blah. Number 2, blah 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 blah. Number 3, like 4, 5, 6, or 7, like 7 principles that are foundational to your life. Maybe codes, belief systems, or pledges to yourself, whatever it might be. It's time to upgrade. Okay, upgrade all of it. Like I have like multiple, about 5 different softwares that I have to use to do my shows, and I have to update regularly to make sure everything's running smoothly. Same thing with my other apps, so that I don't get stuck in vulnerabilities from the past. Okay, so that's good to know. We're going to come up to a full moon pretty soon, so this might make more sense. Maybe inside you're thinking like, yeah, I've got to start redefining like the main core principles of my life. Like, who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I here? What is my mission? What is my purpose? And putting words to that, so that you have your own personal guidebook. It's like, you know how I like to show this a lot of the times? It's like you've already got one of these built inside of you in your own way, shape, or form, but it's time to take the whole thing and do a bunch of reviews and revisions and upgrade it to the new 2025 version. Okay? So what are the challenges here? Okay, so with the Page of Wands, it makes me feel as though deep down you're thinking, yeah, that's great, TarotLumination, thank you so much. I just wish I had a little tiny bit more inspiration, drive, just a big surge of energy so I could actually get this thing done. Because frankly, I just wish it would happen by magic or someone else would do it for me. Because I don't really want to go back and rehash all of this. Maybe you don't have to rehash all of it. Maybe you just have to realize that there's been a core theme of betrayal, treachery, and sabotage that's been bugging you for a long time. It's time to grow out of that and move on, which means having to rewrite the script of your life. It's just that, oh God, that means I have to rewrite the script of my life. Ah! So the main storyline, what's the main theme? You know, what's the main, think of it as a novel. Think of it having to write a novel. What's it going to look like? What are going to be the main, steps through the storyline? And, without a ghostwriter, you're going to have to do it on your own. So you don't have to fix it all right now. This is like a long-term journey moving forward here, and a lot of it will be learned and understood and implemented as you go through all these retrogrades for the next 4 or 5 months, okay? So moving forward, how do we proceed accordingly? Okay, let's put an end to all of this. Basically, it's a time, see, with all the swords here, what's happening is this constant recycling of pain and suffering, betrayal, tragedy, sabotage, over and over and over and again. And every time you feed into it, you're feeding into it, and it amplifies, and it just triggers more and more pain from the past, and that has to stop. So you can't shut it down forever, because the wounds are already there. Okay, these are like non-healing wounds, but you don't have to live your life as though you've been completely destroyed and ruined. No, you go on, you go forward. This relates very much to Chiron and healing. Chiron is in Aries right now, and it's very, very painful to have Chiron in Aries, because it makes us realize that, oh my gosh, I'm not totally, let's say, on board with my true identity. I'm compromised. I have let myself down. I have allowed myself to be betrayed, sabotaged, treachery put upon me, all that. And it's just, either way, I end up having to be the one carrying the wounds. These are the non-healing wounds, but you're not dead yet. You're not dead at all. It's just you're a person walking around with their own version, their own share of non-healing wounds. Everybody has it. Everybody has Chiron in their chart somewhere. And then you go on accordingly, on the understanding that life is a journey. You're going to have to deal with it. It's your journey. You can't outsource someone to live your life for you. You don't have money to buy your own AI robot to live your life for you. You have to live it all yourself. And that includes understanding. So I'll just show you, for example, in case it doesn't make any sense. This is little tiny Chiron. I like to include it in the charts because it tends to be very prominent when I do personal readings in people's astrology. Okay, you have to look at the Chiron element. Okay, I don't know a lot about it, but it's technically an asteroid. But for some reason, astrologers over the years have attributed it. They call it Chiron. I don't know enough about the mythology, but it's associated with a deep, permanent, non-healing wound, okay? And we all have it. Everybody has it somewhere, okay? And this is really about you dealing with it. This would be identifying and naming it itself, like, ow, 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 ow. Don't touch me there, okay? It's just like, you know, every time that subject is... every time you have an experience of that, it's just like, it reminds me of that. Oh God, so-and-so did that to me. I allowed, they screwed me over. Oh, it was absolute hell. Yeah. So you have to understand that everybody has that. We all have our own Chiron somewhere. And it's not pretty. It's not fun. It's not nice. It's important to acknowledge it, but you can't let it take over and run your whole life. Otherwise, it creates a doom loop. Starts to plant the seeds for the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? So, yeah, let me finish off here, okay? Let's have a look over here. So, in a way, like in a really simple way, it looks like, okay, I have to acknowledge this is very painful. I have to acknowledge that this is my burden, like everyone else has their own version. Everyone has their own Ten of Swords, Chiron placement somewhere, okay? And so this is all about how do we deal with that. Dealing with it means understanding the true nature of what it is. Where did it come from past lives and so on? Why is it working out such a way in this lifetime? And what does it mean for the future in your three-dimensional life? Well, going forward in your three-dimensional life, it means integrating and understanding Chiron and the revealing for the healing, and then upgrading yourself accordingly so that the pain and suffering from the never-ending wound can be, let's say, you can start to outgrow it in terms of astrology so that it diminishes. The pain and suffering diminishes, but that means having to basically rewrite some of your own operating systems, making firm decisions on how am I going to proceed in life going forward with my own, how I conduct myself, you know? My conversations, my expectations, my attitudes, my planning, however that works out. And you can't outsource it. No one else can do that. You're going to learn a lot on the way. It's just that no one else can do that. Okay, you have to do it. I know it's frustrating. It would be so nice to have your own personal therapist who could figure out all this stuff for you, but it's something, again, all of us would have to do the same thing, really. So in some ways, Love Triber, this is almost like a universal reading here for everybody here tonight, okay? This one's for you personally, but the theme itself is for everybody, okay? Thank you, Love Triber. I'm not very good at speaking for long periods of time. I like to do it on my little shows, but that's the most I can handle. For throughout the rest of the day, I hardly talk at all. I don't understand how people like Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump can just talk all day, every day. I don't know how they do it. Yeah, you can see there in the chat how people are self-supporting. and how we all kind of end up supporting each other. What was that about the desk? Hold on, what's that? TL, you know how long I've known your desk you work on? It has the same chips and the paint and the cracks it did in 2017. Okay. Alright. That's almost accurate. It's actually, let's see, since 2020, that's for sure. Before 2020, I had a dark brown desk. Again, it was very chipped up and messed up. And so I covered it with a lot of different things. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, Fluffles, I totally get it. What's that, TL? What is that crazy? TL, out of curiosity, let's say someone could pay you $100,000 a year just to be their personal reader and no one else's? I don't know. Would I do it? I don't know. It's hard to imagine that kind of money. If somebody makes an offer, I'll think about it. Donald? All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks, everybody. It's been a lot of fun tonight. I hope you all got something out of it. I'm seeing all the wacky chat here. Anyway, I now invite you to come and visit me on TarotLumination at Rumble. It's the Rumble platform. I know the Rumble platform is really not as advanced as YouTube, but I can speak more freely. And I talk a lot about the global astrology over there, but I don't do any tarot readings. I just do the astrology, okay? All right, so take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you for your patience, kindness, generosity, and your humor. Much appreciated. Thanks for hanging out here with me, making it personal. It feels very personal. Our little retreat, our little virtual campfire. Look after yourselves. With any luck, I'll see you next Sunday. In the meantime, you're welcome to visit during the week at TarotLumination on Rumble, or you can check in on my X. I post everything on X, okay? It's like an archive, okay? Take care, everybody. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. And good night, Maria, too. Maria was here first.